everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Veach Season. We are your guest hosts, Rocky Magaña and Kramer Sansone, filling in for the one, the only Chiefs general manager, Brett Veach, who once again has asked us to step in his stead because he is busy, spending some family time after a well-deserved busy off season. And so you got us again, guys. Whether or not he's ever going to show up, we'll see. But until
one of these days,
we're just going to ride this meal ticket until it's over. Like, they say all good things have to come to an end, but they don't, Kramer.
No, not
Some
at all.
good things just keep going. Oh, just keep going on and on and on, and they never end.
I mean, we've been canceled once and we're back, so it's not like that we're ever going to get rid of us. So
listen, like a phoenix, we rise from the ashes, and you can't extinguish this fire of love that burns deep within our chests for each other and for Chiefs Kingdom.
Amen.
And so I'm just happy to be here with you, buddy, on this beautiful summer night. And I just got to ask you, what's hot with Kramer Dog?
So we officially entered the summer lull, where it's basically dead. It is just dead. Unless you like baseball like myself, then I'm obviously entertained easily. But to get off topic of sports-wise, what's hot with Kramer Dog is we got a new member of the family right now. And I'd like to introduce, here's a little Cosmo. He's sleepy, as you can tell if you're looking at this on the stream.
Stop,
right
Kramer.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. People, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you are missing out on the cutest GD kitten I have ever seen in my entire life. You said his name's Cosmo?
Yep, Cosmo. We have two other cats. One's Moon, which you can also see over my left shoulder, and Venus is under a chair below me. And it's been a war zone through here within the past 24 hours because they don't like this little guy. But you know what? They're going to end up being lovable to each other at some point. But you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, no, we got a new little guy here.
Kramer, you make the cutest, crazy old cat lady that I've ever seen in my entire life, and that is the cutest kitten that I've ever seen. He's perfect. I mean, Taylor's cat's got nothing on Cosmo and your guys' cats,
True.
Wow. So what prompted you guys to add another feline life to your family?
Well, Caitlin's birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, so early birthday present. Like, hey, you want to? She's been talking about it for a couple months now. You know how you gotta make the lady happy. And this is one way to make the lady happy is to get her another son before we actually have kids, or at least start trying for kids. So we're going to have some cats. This is the third and final one we're getting. And, the household is complete, I guess, at this point in time in the house.
Yeah, this is it's not something this is not a gift that you can go back to the well on too many times, though. Like, you can't just every year you can't get her a new cat. Craig.
Exactly. No, that's not going to happen anymore. No,
because eventually you're going to have 50 cats living in the walls of your apartment. You're going to be like that. You'll be like that house that ends up on the news of that hoarders, right? Where they just have a gigantic kiddie pool in a room for the cats to use as a litter box, and they have to end up bulldozing your entire apartment complex.
Oh, can you imagine the smell? That'd be ridiculous. Luckily,
it'd be horrible.
Luckily, I keep maintenance up on these guys to where that you can't smell like we even have cats. The only thing that's going to be weird about this one is he actually has longer hair, and I don't know how long it's going to take to choke me up. But you know what? Little Cosmo here, he's going to be okay.
Listen, some things are worth suffering over when it comes to love.
It is very true.
Sometimes you just got to suffer for love. When you buy a house, it might not work because you guys are in Kansas City and there's winters there as opposed to here. The biggest game changer for us as a cat owner was the house we bought had a doggy door that went into the backyard.
That's awesome.
And the day we moved in, the cat just started using it. And so we haven't had a litter box for 3 years. We were awesome, able to get rid of the litter box because the cat just started going outside to use the restroom like the dog does. So it's just a little bit more that you got to clean up in the backyard, but I'll take that over a litter box any day.
My goodness, yes.
And my cat is awesome. I love my cat. 90% of the time, I feel like he goes to the neighbor's yard because he's just roaming the neighborhood, right? He's just this feral animal that roams the neighborhood and comes home at night.
He's a free range cat, of course.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we do. We raise free range cats. it's like chickens, right? Except for I don't know where I'm going with that.
Me either.
Cats don't lay eggs, whatever.
Wait,
But yeah, it's shocking. I got nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
Oh man.
But anyway, yeah. So I think that my cat actually goes to the neighbor's house to poop.
That's being
well,
a menace.
so.
That's being a menace worthy. That's a good, bravo for your cat.
But it's great because yeah, all I know is I don't ever see cat poop in my yard. Unless my cat is like this weird, like next step in evolution where he just is fully efficient in everything he eats and he produces no waste. I don't know. I doubt it. I assume he's just crapping in other people's yards.
I'd be more terrified since you live in Florida, like something getting it.
Oh, I am terrified. Actually, this is an actual concern because sometimes he won't come home until like 10 o'clock at night, and we have the dog door, so he'll just come in. But there are nights where you'll hear him sprinting across the backyard like something is in hot pursuit of him, and he'll come tearing in through the dog door and then spin around and just like stare at the doggy door like he's expecting somebody to come in the door behind him. Nothing's ever come in the house behind him, but like, yo, it's rough out there in these streets, right? And so it's like like at night you'll hear out because we live kind of in like a rural area, a little bit outside of the main city limits, and so we have alligators, we got owls, we have falcons and eagles all over the place. We have tons of birds of prey. You'll see sometimes you'll see like falcons and eagles just flying overhead with a gigantic fish in their talons. So like these are like, it's crazy. Like I've seen it before, like a 5-pound fish in their talons.
You're basically living in Australia right now.
Yeah, no, it is. I live in like a nature documentary sometimes out here in Florida. I nearly stepped on an alligator last week.
How the hell
it was crazy.
That?
So like our neighborhood has this like locked, the gate's locked, right? It's like a locked community. And so to get in and out, you either have to have the code or a key to open the gate to get out, or you got to wait for a car to come. And then you just walk through when another car opens the gate. Well, we were having my son's birthday party over at the clubhouse, and I had forgotten the key. So I couldn't get out I was locked in my own community to get out of my neighborhood to walk over to the clubhouse for my son's birthday party. And so I was like, I'll just cut around through these bushes. There's like these, like every neighborhood in Florida has these like retainer water ponds, right? Because there's so much water in the soil that you have to have all these ponds, and every body of water in Florida has an alligator in it. Like that's just how it is.
The common thing.
Yeah. And so I had to cut through these bushes around this retainer pond, and I was carrying all this stuff to take over to my son's birthday party because they were waiting on me. And I wasn't even paying attention. And I was walking on the bank next to it, and I didn't even see it until I heard it turn, and I saw it on my peripheral vision. And I looked down, and it was like a 6-foot alligator that was right by my foot, and it spun around and darted in the water. And because they're more, because like most animals in the animal kingdom, they're more scared of you than you are of them. They're not
right. But still, that's terrifying.
We're not their natural prey.
He could have took your leg, Rocky.
Yeah, if I would have stepped on his head, homeboy might have. But luckily, I didn't step on his head. But he just like went in the water, and I was like, and I mean, I browned my pants and wet the front side as well. And then I walked into my 1-year-old's birthday party with crap and pee in my pants, and everybody looked at me like, why have you soiled yourself? And I was standing there looking my father-in-law in the eye, and I felt emasculated.
Like I almost got attacked by an alligator. I don't know what you guys have had to do today.
I was like, come on,
boy, that's terrifying.
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying. So yeah, so that being said, there's things out here that will eat my cat, but he is still alive, which tells me that he's either A, really lucky, or my cat's a badass.
He's a badass.
I'm leaning more towards my cat being a badass than him being lucky, because luck only gets you so far. I figure that like if there was ever a graphic novel or an anime made about my cat, he would be this like scrappy, just like rogue vagabond, like ranger type of character, like Aragorn or something like that.
But no, but that is what's hot with Cream Dog.
But that's what's hot with Crane Dog. You got a brand new cat, and your cat is adorable. And I can't wait to see him grow and blossom into a full-fledged cat.
Same.
The kitten that he is today. Congratulations on the addition to your family.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
What's even bigger than Kramer getting a new cat, though, is our Pop Kingdom update for this week is shocking. It has to do with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, because it seems like every pop culture update that we've had for the Chiefs over the last year has had to do with Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And I've seen people say that they're getting like Kelce fatigue, and I understand it, but I'm not that guy. I am still 100% all about, I'm too big of a Swiftie to have any sort of like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift fatigue. So if you're feeling it, I'm sorry, guys. We're in the middle of the summer.
What I loved about this, though, with Travis going on stage and helping perform and do what he does best, which is almost at times steal a spotlight. But you can't steal a spotlight from Taylor Swift whatsoever. He looked like he was all natural. He didn't look like he was nervous at all. He just felt like himself. I think he's down to earth, a true performer at heart, rather than a football player. And the fact that he's great at playing football, it just puts the cherry on top. Because it's like, what can't Travis do? And that's coming from a guy who is a Raiders fan. Like, what can't Travis do? Like, he's literally can do it all. Like, he can host things. He can go out and perform with Taylor Swift. Granted, I'm like, he's not singing yet. He was just waving her down, trying to cool her off because all the hot, humid temperatures there and over there and across the pond. So, I'm curious if our guys, Brad and Tom, went to watch this show. Because, you know what? That's something that I feel like would be up their alley.
I feel like they would say something like, "Oh, mate, I just went to because it was my kids wanted to go. I don't like them. I don't like Taylor." Like, they're the guys that are trying to act like they don't like Taylor Swift. They're like, "Oh, well, my friend dared me to go to the concert, so I dropped $750 on a ticket to go." Right? No,
you just don't do that. You don't do it because of dared. No, you're going because you like Taylor.
Oh, if you go to Taylor Swift concert, you're going because you like Taylor. You're not even taking your kid because they like Taylor. You're going because you're taking your kid because you like Taylor. Because if you don't like Taylor, you're telling your kid, I'm not paying $750 or however much it costs, right, for a Taylor Swift ticket. You're like, no, we're not spending that. You're just gonna have to watch the Eras tour on Disney Plus.
What I'm curious is how many people noticed that was Travis at the time or during the time? Like, was that? Do you think it was a given that everyone knew? Like, oh my gosh, that's Taylor's man. That's Travis. That's Travis Kelce. Or how many people
who
knew?
know Taylor? Swifties knew it immediately. I guarantee you, they are so locked in.
Really?
To Taylor Swift. I guarantee you, the moment they saw him on stage, they were like, phones out. This is a viral moment. And we haven't really talked about. So for those of you who don't know, who don't just consume this, don't have a Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce live feeds like just injected straight into your veins 24/7 like I do. Travis Kelce surprised everybody on stage at Taylor Swift's Eras Tours concert in London, in front of Paul McCartney, the royal family, the whole 9 yards, by performing.
Even Tom Cruise was there.
Yeah, Tom Cruise was there. He showed up dressed in a full tuxedo during "I Can Do It with a Broken Heart" off her latest Torture Poets Department album. And he was there fanning her in a full tuxedo on stage as one of her background dancers. At one point during the performance, she faints, and he picks her up and he carries her like he's a hero, like whisking her away. It was the most swoon-worthy GD romantic thing I've ever seen in my life. And you're right, Kramer. Like, Travis was a performer to a T. We've always known that he has rhythm, though. We've always known that he has like that bigger than life persona, that stage presence. He was awesome when he was on Saturday Night Live. He always has had he's always been comfortable in front of the camera. So I don't doubt it. Like it wasn't surprising at all to see how natural he looked and how successful and he looked in that moment. I think it was awesome because he 100% just did it because he wanted to be there to support his lady. And to show everybody in the world that hey, I'm not ashamed of her. I'm not ashamed of anything. Like this is real. I'm in it to win it with this lady, and we just want to put our love on display for everybody to see because we're proud of it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to watch. And I think that everybody should find somebody that looks at them the way that those two look at each other, because you could tell that it's true love.
He's got to pop the question soon, right? You think is he doing it before the season starts? At the end of the season, after they win that third consecutive Super Bowl, is he popping the question then? It's like, because it's not like Taylor brought her other man boyfriends, whatever you want to classify them, on stage before. Like, I've never seen her ever do this whatsoever.
Well,
the fact that Travis is there doing this in the spotlight, maybe it's just because also it's Travis Kelce. Like, as I mean, I know Travis because of football, clearly. So
her last boyfriend, serious boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, that she dated for 6 years, was very much like, I don't really want to be associated with you in the limelight. I don't want to be in the limelight. He's like at that whole like, I'm an indie actor, I'm too cool for school, like type of persona. Like I date you, but I'm ashamed of your music, was kind of a little bit of his persona. You know what I mean?
Guy.
Like, yeah, like, oh, I listened to like to the Frames, or I listened to, you know, blah, like fill in like 96.5 indie rock. Is 96.5 still a station in Kansas City? That's how long I've been gone.
It's alt 96.5. It's not the Buzz anymore.
Okay, so yeah, so like I listen to whatever alt 96.5 they're playing as their newest tracks, you know, these days. Like when I was a kid, it would have been like, oh, I listened to Modest Mouse or something stupid. You know what I mean, right? Like he's like, so I can't listen to you. Just entirely ignoring the fact that her last 3 albums were basically produced by The National, which is one of the greatest like indie rock bands of all time. And so go suck it, Joe Alwyn. This isn't a music podcast though, so I'll get off of my soapbox. But no, like it's great to see that they love each other though, and that they're so out in the open with it. And as far as like the popping the question thing is, who's to say that Travis is the one that's going to pop the question? This is 2024, Kramer, and she is definitely one of the largest power brokers in the public eye. If anybody could pop the question, it could be her. But then B, I assume they will. But what's the rush? Unless they're looking to start a family like pronto, I could see that maybe they would want to then. But what's the rush for them? Like they are living their best life right now.
I just want to tie the knot and make them even more happier.
Listen, if I'm Travis Kelce, I'm trying to lock that shit down.
Yes.
Like yesterday. Like I knew that I was dating out of my league with my wife, and I needed to lock it down and make her legally committed to me. Right. I just like your fiance, like, bro, like we know that we're punching out of our weight classes. So I'm like, I gotta legally tie this person to me before they see what's going on. And like I love Travis Kelce, but he is definitely, you know, punching up in his weight class and hitting out of his league as well with Taylor Swift. Also,
I think the last athletes that we know that got proposed to, whether if it was the female proposing the man, was Lindsey Vonn to PK Subban. NHL player and Lindsey Vonn's the skier.
Yeah. Skier.
Damn good skier.
There is a precedent for this.
It's true.
I don't know. So I'm gonna say. So later on in the episode we're gonna do Chiefs over unders. What's your over under on when Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift get engaged? We're gonna say it is 8 months, over or under.
You just want to answer that right now?
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, yes, let's do it. That's a teaser. As a teaser to the people.
Gotcha.
Over under 8 months. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift get engaged. What is your bet?
It's June, so February's in less than 8 months. So I'm saying under.
You're saying under. So you're saying like post game.
I think I'm telling you, Super Bowl, post game of the Super Bowl after they win, the question's being popped.
On field. He announces his retirement and then proposes at the same time.
And that's when I become a Chiefs fan, because Chiefs win consecutive Super Bowls in a row.
And you're like, I decided to wait until the greatest tight end of all time stopped playing football to become a Chiefs fan and miss out on his entire career.
Hold up. I've followed his entire career. Trust me, to a T. Of how much he's ruined the AFC.
Why do you hate Travis Kelce so much that you're like, thank God Travis Kelce is finally not going to play anymore, and so I'm going to become a Chiefs fan because I hate Travis Kelce that much.
I love tight ends. It's special teamers and tight ends are my favorite thing because if I would have played football, I would have wanted to be a tight end, and I'm only 6'3", so I was a little short on the short side of being a tight end. So that's why kicking is my other second favorite hobby, and that's why special teams is the back pocket of mine. So, but no, I love Travis Kelce.
Listen, for all of us 5'10" to 5'11" short kings out there like me, you saying I'm only 6'3" makes me want to vomit.
But I'm
makes
short
me
for a
to
tight
vomit.
end. Like literally, when I was talking to Noah Gray last week, he's literally just a few more inches above me. I think he's like 6'5".
Yeah, Noah Gray's a little short for a tight end as well.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I'm gonna take the under on that as well.
Okay.
I think that it happens sooner rather than later. I don't know if it's gonna happen after the Super Bowl, but I do think that it happens at some point.
Has that major league element of winning the World Series, and he wants to go back to his gal.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be great. I think it's. Oh man, what a great wedding it's going to be too. Like, where do you think they'll get married at?
Honestly, I have no idea. That's just something. The real question
is it gonna be a big affair?
Yeah, a big one or a small one?
A private wedding.
100% private.
I think it's gonna be a private wedding, maybe in Martha's Vineyard, something like that. Somewhere up on the East Coast, right? You know, near New York.
Where the elitists are.
That's where the elitists are. That's where she has her residence. She does
have a residency here in Kansas City, though. She does.
She does. They could have a private ceremony in Mahomes' backyard or in Kelce's back. Just get a backyard wedding. You know,
Hey, it's that those are starting to become more and more common these days.
They are. Me and my wife basically had a backyard wedding, but that's because we got married during COVID. So that's
they kind of had to a little bit.
They kind of had to. That's kind of like all that they would let you do at that point. All right. So anyway, that's Cheese Pop Kingdom. I love Travis Kelce. I love Taylor Swift, and this is just one of the funnest things to follow along with. Just eating popcorn from afar, and yeah, it's awesome. I can't wait to see what happens next. In actual Chiefs news, looks like Bugsgate 2024 is finally coming to a close. It's been announced that the Chiefs have reportedly at last released Isaiah Buggs. I imagine they probably did their due diligence enough just to feel comfortable saying, I know he's denying everything, but there's enough smoke that we did our investigation and we see enough fire to say that, like, yo, homie, like, you're not, like, the juice isn't worth the squeeze at this point for what you provide this team.
I'm going to be real honest. I did not know who even the hell Isaiah Buggs was until the report of him being cruel to animals came out. I didn't even know who the hell the dude was. And it's not like I'm going to lose sleep over the fact that they released him. If anything, I'm going to actually hopefully gain a little more sleep because it's due time. They had to have done it at some point. I'm glad they did it now. I feel like they wasted way too long for it to happen. And this is just something the Chiefs didn't need over this offseason of how much they've been in the limelight of the news for bad reasons, whether how you portray it or not. It's just not a good look, and I'm just happy the Chiefs finally done something.
I mean, in your defense, you're not even a Chiefs fan, so you don't have to know who Isaiah Buggs is. Now, if this happens,
he was a practice squad guy.
If this happens in February, Kramer, after we win the third Super Bowl, you better bet your sweet ass you better know who Isaiah Buggs is as a diehard Chiefs fan after you convert.
You're right. No, I like this is newsworthy. Trust me, it is. But my goodness, this is long overdue for this release.
Yeah, long overdue for this release.
Like, I'm really shocked he didn't get released after the dog stuff happened. Like, I'm being completely honest on that one.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I can only imagine that they were already going to release him, and there's some sort of like June 1 cut, like timing that associates with it, or
True.
or they were just waiting to get back their own report from their own investigation, right? Just to make sure, like they're like, okay, we're just going to do our due diligence. But I believe all along that this was just like just an inevitable timing thing that eventually it was going to happen. And I'm fine with it. He's not an integral member of the team.
What do you mean? He's that lockdown defender out there,
Yeah, right. And so he was a camp body, a depth piece at best.
Not even just a camp body, a warm body that they just needed to fill out a slot.
Yeah, like you got to think, like if I
think Danny Shelton had a better chance of getting on the field than what he did.
Like if you're on the roster and you're big enough and strong enough to just be the warm body fill-in depth piece on an NFL roster, and you know that you're like you're not Chris Jones, you're there to fill a spot and to eat up some snaps, right? And to not get pushed backwards. Like if I know who I am and I know that about myself, I'm not doing anything stupid to jeopardize that cushy ass meal ticket. Like,
especially playing for the Chiefs.
Bro, that's the whole thing. Like you look at this, people talk about for instance, like Justin Watson, right? Like if I was Justin Watson, of course I'm re-signing with the Chiefs, right? If I'm Nicole Hardman, of course I'm re-signing with the Chiefs. Yo, y'all realize Justin Watson has 3 Super Bowl rings, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to be Justin Watson, then be Justin Watson with 3 Super Bowl rings. Because no matter where you go, you're going to have the same career that you have currently. Like you're going to be 350 yards, 400 yards a year, like wide receiver 5 on the depth chart at any team you go to. So you might as well do that on the team where you get a ring that has 176 diamonds in it every single year.
Yeah, no, it's pretty much join the team, even if like you're not the standout dude. Like help them out in practice. That's pretty much what 3/4 of the season is practice. Help them out there, help them win a ring that way. I would love to do that. Like that's like a dream for probably you and I both.
Yeah, if I'm on the active roster of the Chiefs earning league minimum money as a vet, I am like bringing Brett Veach coffee every single morning. I am like door dashing cheeseburgers to Andy Reid's office on like every Tuesday or something for him. I am like, I'm paying to have their car detailed to surprise them for like, there's like a holiday. It's like there's like Grandparents' Day and like Father's Day and like Boss's Day. Like on Boss's Day or like Head Coach's Day, there's got to be like a General Manager's Day. There's a day for everything, right? Like I'm surprising Brett Veach on General Manager's Day by having his car detailed and like filling it up like with like cases of his favorite candy or bubble gum or whatever it is.
I would surprise Brett Veach by hosting his talk show, his weekly talk show for him.
Yeah, that's what I would do actually. Yeah. If Brett Veach signed me to the Brett, like I would pay my dues by hosting his talk show, Veach season, every single week. For
Veach season, baby.
Veach season, baby, coming at you year round. Because that's what Brett Veach would want us to do.
Exactly. No days off, except for Brett. He can have a day off from his hosting gig. It's okay.
Well, yeah, no. Brett takes days off. We don't take days off.
Exactly.
Right? Because if we take days off, then Brett would actually have to come in and host his own podcast.
Very true. Very much.
We can't have that. Like this is actually this is our equivalent of a cushy cheese spot. Like we have this podcast. Like Brett Veach allows us to host his podcast for him, and if we didn't show up, he would have to come in and do it, and then there'd be no need for us anymore.
It's true. Very true.
So in essence, we're like Isaiah Bugs.
No, whoa. Don't put me on that level.
You're like Isaiah Bugs. No. I'm like Justin Watson.
I don't own dogs. Apparently he said neither did he, but I digress. I'm so happy the Chiefs released him.
Well, now we know why you don't own dogs, Kramer. You're like on the TV show Dexter, right? Like you know better. Like you can't own dogs. So that's why
I want a dog so bad though. I just apartment living can't do it.
Yeah, dogs are way better than cats. I'm sorry.
I love dogs.
I love dogs too. I love cats. I just love animals. It doesn't have to be an either or. Just
Same.
have animals. Like I love turtles. Turtles are my favorite animal, to be honest.
Dude, okay, so I know this is completely off topic, but I was
But for us,
yeah,
nothing's
you're right.
off topic. Come
Well, we
on.
were at the getting all Cosmo. They had tortoises there, and of course, my ass was looking at the tortoises like just watching this turtle eat, and I'm like, this is actually quite more entertaining than wanting to get a cat. I almost convinced Kate like, hey, you want to get a turtle?
Hey, Caitlin, you want a 110-year commitment?
Oh, no kidding.
Let's just get a turtle. I mean, yeah, no. I had a turtle growing up that we found. Like it was like kind of injured, and we nursed it back to health.
Nice.
But it lived for 19 years before it passed on. Yeah, it was a good. His name was Timmy. Timmy the turtle. R.I.P. bro. Timmy the turtle was the man. Yeah. So Chiefs released Isaiah Buggs.
Good.
Yeah. So also this week in other Chiefs news, this is kind of like Chiefs news, kind of not Chiefs news. There was on Twitter, somebody released a guy named Soul Runner via Scott Barrett DFB, at Scott Barrett DFB on Twitter, and they sent out a receiving splits chart, single high versus two high defenses since 2022 for all wide receivers and tight ends in the NFL, and the data point was by average yards per route run, which we know is basically you take the total number of routes a wide receiver runs, and you divide it by their yards receiving, and you get the total amount of yards that they have per route run, which is supposed to be an efficiency metric for a wide receiver in the NFL. Shocking, the best in the NFL was Tyreek Hill by a large margin.
Very large margin.
Very large margin. He averages over 3 yards per route run, which is a good number against two high shell defenses. And then on single high, he averages over 4 yards, which makes sense because you're stupid if you ever put Tyreek Hill in single high defense. And,
like, why would
you leave your cornerback basically on an island against him. The Chiefs had mixed results, which we knew this last year. Actually, I wrote an article about how the Chiefs specifically struggled against zone defenses last year. And the only player on the team who did good against zone defenses was I think it was Travis Kelce last year. And then they also struggled. It's funny because they struggled against zone defenses. They also struggled against man defenses for a good portion of last year. The Chiefs receiving core in general just kind of struggled.
Hey, they still won the Super Bowl, baby. They did something.
They did something right, and they did enough right. But on this chart, Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce are sitting around the 2.5 yards per route run mark, which is all. Anything over 2 yards is really kind of a pretty good metric. It's 2 yards is kind of like the waterline mark for that, and so they were both sitting over 2.5 yards on both, which is nice.
That's why it's huge for Rashee Rice to hopefully play the full season this year, because he adds so much to this team. The element that he brings with his getting open, like this is like, you need to have him here.
Yeah, and like here's the thing. Here's the thing with Rashee Rice is that he needs to play this year because he was really coming on towards the end of last season, and especially in the playoffs, being more than just a wide shallow cross receiver.
Yep.
or a manufactured touch on like wide receiver screens. Like he had a great rookie season, but the first half of his rookie season, let's be honest, was schemed up by Andy Reid. Right. Yeah. He wasn't going out there beating man coverage. He wasn't getting chunk plays. Like they were getting the ball in his hands while he was moving north and south, and they were getting it in his hands quickly and letting him do some damage after the catch. And he was great at it because he's strong. He's one of the strongest wide receivers in the NFL. You're not going to be able to like jam him at the line. He's going to go right past you. You can't. He's hard to arm tackle even. But that being said, he needs to prove that he has a full route tree, that he can get off of that that his release he has a fully developed release package on man coverage on the outside, that he can run an out pattern to post pattern, that he understands spacing in different receiving concepts, right? And then he's more than just this 5-step slant across the middle, hit him while he's running, wide receiver screen, wide shallow cross, and that's the thing though. But this is how Andy Reid brings along all of his receivers. So this isn't a knock on Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce is on record of saying his first 3 seasons, 95% of his production was just wide shallow crosses, right? That Andy Reid just was like, hey, go and run a shallow cross. We're going to clear it out over the middle, and we're going to catch you on the backside as you cross over midfield. There's going to be a hole in the defense, and we're just going to hit you. That's what they did.
That's what they do now. They still do that for Travis Kelce. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what they do for all of their larger receivers. It's a concept that Andy Reid has. That it's one of the main concepts of the West Coast offense. First of all, and it's one of their bread and butter. It's one of the bread and butter plays, and it's something that Andy Reid has built his offenses around. It's almost like, in basketball, Bill Self, you'll see him at the top of the key, and they have that they do that top of the key switch pass back and forth, right? Where the guards go around and they hand the ball off at the top of the key. And you see that in Bill Self's offense every single year. It's the same thing with Andy Reid. You're going to see wide shallow crosses every single year in Andy Reid's offense. And it's just going to be a staple that they're going to run, and they're going to feast on it. But it's also something where you don't need to be the most developed route runner in order to be successful. What you do have to be is big and strong with some athleticism. And that's what Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce both have in spades. So Rashee Rice needs to be in there because he needs to continue to develop. Now, there's less pressure on him this year to develop because the Chiefs have Hollywood Brown for a year. It's true. And because the Chiefs also drafted Xavier Worthy. I know a lot of Chiefs Kingdom is freaking out because Xavier Worthy still is on the sidelines throughout OTAs. Guys, they are just being cautious with him. I am not concerned about Xavier Worthy. Hamstring injuries.
Nobody should be concerned.
And this is funny because I am the guy who has spent his entire journalistic career saying you never know with hamstring injuries. A hamstring injury can linger an entire season. I don't like undersized wide receivers because they have durability issues. And blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here and telling you, don't worry about this hamstring issue. This guy who's small this isn't going to be a durability issue for him. And the Chiefs they don't want it to be a situation that strings out across the season. So they're saying, you know what, we're going to get it taken care of. We're going to rest it. There's no reason to do anything with them right now. We're shutting them down out of an abundance of precaution. And then we're just gonna ramp it up in the regular season. And the thing about Xavier Worthy is he's a tough SOB. He played an entire season with a broken hand, right, at wide receiver, and that's where a lot of his knocks and for his drops and stuff from people like me came in was in 2022 when he was playing with a broken hand.
I'm pretty sure we have that on tape of you saying something similar to that earlier this year when I'm not to toot my own horn or anything. I literally said the Chiefs would trade up to get Xavier Worthy. And you were like, there's no way. He's this, that, this. They wouldn't go up there to trade up to get to him because of this, that, and that. And you know what they did? They traded up and they got Xavier Worthy. Chiefs Kingdom, everything is fine. Literally, July is next month. I know we have a handful of days left here in June. He'll be fine.
Well, so here's the thing about when I said that before, Kramer, was that he wasn't a Chief then. So he wasn't as tough as he is now because he wasn't a Chief at that point. So now that he's a Chief, that he is just, he's as tough as they come.
You're right. He's tough as nails.
And he is the most talented player on the face of the planet because he plays for my team. I'm okay with saying that my opinion of him has changed now that he wears a Chiefs jersey. 100%.
Oh, yes, he should.
That's what being a fan is, Kramer. I mean, yeah, I admit that I was wrong in my evaluation of him prior to the season, and now I love him. I think he's great. I think he's going to be the greatest wide receiver that ever lived.
I hope so. I genuinely hope so because he has so much potential to be an elite level wide receiver.
Well, and so this is a bit of a tangent, so bear with me. And I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you're a fan of tangents, obviously.
Clearly.
But I was so because I'm a true guys, like here's the thing with pre-draft process and making predictions about prospects. We do our best based upon the information given to us, but we're also wrong a lot. Like even best in the business, like us, are wrong a lot of the time, right? Like Dane Brugler is wrong a lot about guys. Like you do everything you can do, but you're just wrong sometimes. And because I'm a true draft sicko, like I am, I watched the 1981 NFL draft on YouTube today. 3 hours of coverage. 3 hours of draft coverage for the 1981 NFL draft. And you say, well, how is that applicable to today? Because in the 1981 NFL draft, the Oakland Raiders drafted a little known player at the time by the name of Howie Long.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when they drafted Howie Long, every single analyst on ESPN at the time, Bob Lay, this guy Howard Balzer from the Sporting News, the dude from Sports Illustrated, they all were like, who? Who'd the Raiders draft? Wow. And like they literally interviewed the Raiders GM and they said, wow, the Raiders sure do play by their own rules, drafting guys that nobody's ever heard of. This was a bit of a gamble, don't you think? And the Raiders GM at the time said, yeah, he was a gamble, but we believe we got a young, strong player who has a lot of upside, who fits what we want to do. And they were like, well, we hope it works out for you. And they're all like saying, like, just like trashing the Howie Long pick because nobody nobody had even heard of him. One guy even goes, well, that's how it is at the draft. Sometimes, they draft players that you really haven't ever heard of or done any research into, who's just not on anybody's radar. And I was like, holy crap, like Howie Long, like NFL great. Man. Howie Long was just the Raiders were getting trashed for one of the better picks they've made in their entire history of their franchise.
That's hilarious.
And that's how it is. That's how it is. Like pre-draft process, a lot of these guys just get trashed and just get hammered on, and then they turn out to be these like superstars because at the end of the day, you're going off the best information given to you, but the amount of information that you actually know is like a thimbleful of all the actual information, right? And that's just the nature of the beast, right? And so, but yeah, so that's my long whining thing to say that Xavier, we didn't like all the information about Xavier Worthy wasn't available pre-draft necessarily, and it's still not available post-draft, and we're gonna have to wait and see. But I'm not scared. I'm not worried about him.
I wouldn't be worried about it either. I don't think that I would. He needs to put on some. He needs to eat. He needs to eat, get some protein in his system. Like that's just me personally. I think he needs to.
I agree.
Yeah, get some protein in you, man.
Yo, all right, Xavier Worthy, I need you to get in your car, drive down.
Hopefully, it doesn't get stolen.
Either LC's or Gates. Get yourself a shortened half slab of ribs. Get yourself some fries with some white bread. Eat it. And then go back the next day. Do that again. At least 5 days a week for 6 months straight.
Heck,
and if you
bring a different lineman every single time.
Yeah, and if you do that, you'll look like me. Because when I lived in Kansas City, that was essentially the diet that I lived on, was a half slab of ribs every day for lunch, or a plate of rib tips from Arthur Bryant's over lunch hour.
You make me want to get some barbecue tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Joe's is literally like right by my work, and it's very tempting every single day just to go to Joe's just to get barbecue. The Z-Man just sounds amazing right now.
Oh, 100%. You want to know a secret about Joe's that makes it awesome?
What's that?
You get the Z-Man, or I like the Rocket Pig. The Rocket Pig sandwich is super good as well. But sub the bun for the Texas toast.
Ooh.
Yeah. It sets it off. Sub the bun for Texas toast on either the Z-Man or the Rocket Pig, and you will not regret it.
Okay.
I guarantee you.
Okay.
Try it, Kansas City. And hey, Joe's, if you're listening, you get an influx of orders of people doing that. I apologize, but you can put it on the menu as the Veach season. The Rocket Pig with Texas toast is the Veach season. So go to
Hell
Joe's
yeah.
and tell them you want to order the Veach season and watch them look at you with a confused look in your eye. In their eye. All right, we're gonna do some Chiefs over unders, Crane.
Sweet.
So let's knock out some Chiefs over unders here. So for the 2024 season, we got 11 of them here. Well, 12 now that we did the Kelce and Taylor prop.
Okay,
but
yeah, you're right. Under 8 months.
Yep, under 8 months. So the first prop is under. We need to somebody keep track of these too. So if you're listening out there, can somebody please keep track of these and let us know how we end up doing? Because I'm not going to remember to.
You know what? We'll bring you on the show. We'll bring you on the show.
If you keep track of it and you have these, contact us on X or Twitter. Gosh dang it, your Gen Z-ness is seeping into my millennial brain. If keep message us, slide into our DMs on Twitter and with the results at the end of the year and let us know how we did, and we'll bring you on to cover it. All right. So first one was Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift popping the question. We both said under 8 months. Number 2, Chiefs wins over or under 11.5.
I'm going under. I think they win 10. I think they win 10 games this year. I know that might seem low, but I think there's going to be some teams that actually going to go toe-to-toe with them. It's not me saying the Chiefs don't three-peat or anything. I think they win 10 games. They still make the playoffs and go on a huge run like they usually do.
I mean, sure, maybe last year, not this year. No, I'm taking over. I think the Chiefs win 13 games this year. Are you kidding me? Okay. The Chiefs are extremely improved. They added Hollywood Brown. They added Xavier Worthy. The defense lost L'Jarius Sneed, but it's also
huge. Rocky.
The secondary is still awesome. Secondary is still awesome. George Karlaftis is another year better. Trent McDuffie is another year better. Brian Cook is healthy. I didn't see Brian Cook. I know he was there during the ring ceremony, but I did not see him. He was confirmed there. So maybe did you look for the extremely handsome, studly looking human being?
Yeah, there was way too many of those there.
I know there was a lot of them. So I'm going to say over. I'm not going to say that they're going to do 13, but I'm going to say that I'm taking the over on 11.5. I'm smashing the over of 11.5, especially with the state of the Broncos currently. And
that's 2 wins. That's easily 2 wins.
Especially with the state of the Raiders.
That's one, at least one win.
And especially with the Chargers basically gutting and doing a complete and total rebuild around Justin Herbert. I'm taking the over. All right, Mahomes, 5,000 yards. You taking the over or the under on that?
I think he can get over 5,000, especially with this wide receiver core. I think he can easily get it over that. And I think there could be a couple guys who get 1,000 yards.
He's only had over 5,000 twice in his career, and that was in 2018 and 2022. That being said, he had the worst wide receiving core of his career last year. So
yeah,
and then he's had over 4,700 yards 2 other times in his career. I'm gonna say with the addition, now that we're in a 17-game season, with the added emphasis that Andy Reid is putting on the deep ball now, on the resurgence of the deep ball and the newly added speed.
Mm-hmm.
If they're going to go over 11.5, Mahomes needs to go over 5,000 yards receiving. So I'm taking the over. All right. So the next one is Mahomes over 38 TDs.
I feel like he would have to take the over on this if he's getting
38.5 TDs, 38.5 TDs.
38.5. So he has to get 39. I know he's cracked the code of going over 40, I think, twice, I think, in his career, I think. There's a handful. There's 1 year he had 38 touchdowns, 1 year he had 37.
Yes. I think he goes 50, 38, 37, 41 are his 4 highest totals. I think 27 and 26.
And for this to work out, for him to get 5,000 yards, he has to throw over 40 touchdowns. Unless it's a lot of 80-yard bombs from Xavier Worthy or Rashee Rice or Hollywood Brown, because 3 of those guys are capable of doing that. I think it would have to be over. This would only make sense if it was over, so I'm taking the over 38.5 on Mahomes touchdowns.
And these are passing touchdowns, not rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Just strictly passing touchdowns. I'm taking the over on it. All right. The next one is Kelce over 950 yards.
I think it's under. I think he's not cracking the 950 mark this year. I think he gets over 900, but I just think I think we're going to see a lot of snap management with Travis Kelce this season because of the addition of Jared Wiley, of what they can get out of Noah Gray left. I believe this is last year on his rookie deal. So I wouldn't be shocked to see more of an influx of those guys being rotated in and out. Maybe we see more Travis Kelce being more relied upon towards the back half of the season. I just want to make sure Travis Kelce stays healthy for that run in the playoffs. So I say
they snap managed him last year, and he set out 2 games, right? And he still finished with 984 yards.
But it wasn't 1,000 yards like he has been doing consecutively from year after year.
But we're not talking about 1,000. We're talking about 950.
There's a decline. I know, but there's still a decline. It goes from there's a 1,000 mark, and you go under the 1,000 mark like he did last season. Now it's going to be the under 950 mark. He might get 949. Rocky. I'm not saying
951 is still a decline from last year.
I absolutely agree, but I can see there's a bigger step.
I think he has a better year this year than he had last year.
Too many hands out in the field now. Way too many hands out in the field. Someone's going to get touches. We already see how much Patrick likes to spread the ball out every single time. He might fall in love with someone else more than Travis Kelce this year. We just have to see it happen.
Kramer, how many siblings do you have?
One older brother.
One older brother. So if you come from a large family with multiple children at the dinner table, you learn one rule. No matter how many mouths there are to feed, Daddy always still gets the big piece of chicken.
Okay.
Kelce's getting his no matter what. I'm saying Kelce over 950.
Okay. Okay, Rocky.
All right. Now, Hollywood Brown over 1,000.
Yes. Yeah, yes. There's this is a prove-it year for Hollywood Brown. He gets over 1,000 yards. He may not get all the touchdowns that he probably wants, but he's going to get over that 1,000-yard mark. He's going to be a workhorse during this offense this year.
So if Mahomes is going to go over 5,000 yards receiving in this offense with all these mouths to feed, and if Kelce gets the big piece of chicken and gets his 950, there is a bit of a concern about the mouths to feed. But if Mahomes is going to go over 5,000 yards, I believe he needs 2,000-yard receivers this year. I'm going to say over for Hollywood Brown. The Hollywood Brown is his other 1,000-yard receiver.
Okay. I like it, Rocky.
Look at me. I'm just homering it up over here. I'm just smashing the overs on every single thing for the Chiefs so far. All right. Same thing. Rashee Rice, 1,000 yards over or under.
I want to say yes so bad, but I think just now thinking about it, I think games played might have been the best one. We probably should have hit on a little bit. But if he plays all 17 games, he's getting over the 1,000-yard mark easily. He played so well last year. Like, it was impressive to say the least, especially for having a lackluster beginning of the season last year. Turning it on the second half, it's what you asked for. I think Rashee Rice gets over the 1,000-yard mark.
So let's do this. Let's do this instead because Rashee Rice is facing suspension. To get 1,000 yards over a 17-game season, you need to average 58.82 yards.
And he could do that easily.
A game. So if he has a suspension, so the factor in the suspension, let's say Rashee Rice over 59 yards a game average.
Yeah. Over.
All right. Over. So you're taking Rashee Rice over 59 yards a game average.
Yeah. Because he was averaging 70 to 90 last year per game. Yeah.
No. Otherwise, he would have had 1,000 yards.
Not per game, but towards that back half of the season, when they started using him a lot
the back
more.
Half of the season, yeah.
Because I was watching him through fantasy football stuff and numbers. Where I was like, man, I wish I would have put a claim on him or at least draft him late in the round.
I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under on it.
Okay.
Too many mouths to feed.
I like it. Okay.
All right. Next one. Chris Jones, Stone Cold Jones, the CEO of Sack Nation, over 10.5 sacks.
Yeah. If he goes out there fully committed like he did when he was trying to get that 1 sack to get that extra $1 million, if that's him every single snap, there's no reason for him not to have 30 sacks this upcoming season. So, take the over 10.5.
Yeah, I don't think there's any concern about him getting paid and then not producing. He missed a game last year. He came in, he said that conditioning wasn't an issue, but as the season wore on and you got into the dog days of winter, I believe it was, he was sucking air in the Super Bowl in the second half. Like, there was that time where Reed's like, if you've heard the mic'd up of the Super Bowl, there was that part where Andy Reid was like, Chris, I need you. And he was like, 1 second. You're right, kind of thing. And so I think this conditioning's up this year, and I'm going to take over. George Karlaftis, over 10.5 sacks.
Yeah. Now, the fact, dude, I didn't realize how big George Karlaftis was a person. There's a reason for him not to get 15 sacks this upcoming year. I think he's going to ball out and eat. Furious George is going to be on the loose.
Like I said, can you imagine if him and his girlfriend have a baby since she's a D1 track star? Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
My God. Yeah. That's insane. I'm going to say I'm taking the over on this one. Yeah, I love George Karlaftis. He's been trading with Tamba Hali for a second straight year. Of course I'm taking the over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. FAU, over 4.5 sacks.
Rocky, I don't think he gets the 5 sacks at all. I think we're seeing the under of FAU. I hope he's not a bust, man. I hope he's not a bust. He has so much promise, man. But I don't think he gets the playing time that he needs to this year to produce that way. So I'm taking the under.
Well, listen, that's the whole thing. We had that discussion about Mecole Hardman the other day. Is just because the stats aren't there doesn't mean that he's a bust or he's a bad player. You have to have the opportunities. You have to have.
He had opportunities last year. He just didn't capitalize.
I mean, did he really have that many reps though last year?
Well, he was being rotated out with Mike Dana. Charles Minihue.
Yeah, he's still going to be
on the edge a little bit.
Minahue's coming back from his injury, but he's still going to be struggling with Mike Dana for reps. I'm going to take the under on this as well. I hope he hits the over.
Yeah, I want him to hit the over so bad.
But if he hits the under, I don't think that means that he's a bust and he's a bad player. I'm going on record as saying that.
Oh, man, because only reason why Cleveland Farrell, Raiders drafted him as an edge, moved him to a defensive tackle, and boom, he's a 49er or wherever he's at now. He kind of reminds me and the Cleveland Farrell was a top 5 draft pick too, just to point that out there. The first season I saw with Cleveland Farrell, the first season I saw at the FAU, I feel like they're the exact same player. That's the only reason why it's coming out of me like that.
The difference is that Cleveland Farrell was a Raider, so he was horrible, and FAU is a Chief, so he's awesome.
I'm just putting perspective out there.
So I just beat your whole entire argument.
You got George Karlaftis and Mike Dana. Do you really think FAU needs to touch the field? No.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm taking the under. McDuffie, over 3 interceptions.
Yeah, no, give it to him. Yeah, I think he does. I feel like we're going to see him solidified that role of L'Jarius, need to be a little nastier. And he's going to be a ball hawk.
You got to throw at him for him to get interceptions.
That's true. That's the thing. They don't really throw at him. But when they do, let's see him get those hands up there and grab it.
I know. I think I'm going to take the under.
Really? Rocky, there's 17 games in a season. You tell me you can't get 3 interceptions?
Yeah, I think I'm taking the under.
Okay.
Do you know how many interceptions he has?
What, total-wise his career? I think it's like 3.
You sure about that?
I'm not 100%. I'm just completely guessing. I have no idea or clue. Is it 5?
And it's 0.
He has no interceptions.
Trent McDuffie has 0. According to ESPN.
That feels so wrong. Why does that feel so wrong?
Has 0 interceptions. Because
no way.
You got to throw at him. You got to throw at him to get an interception. The man is an all-pro. He's one of the best in the game. But he doesn't have a recorded interception yet in the NFL. Over 2 seasons.
Wow, he's got 6 forced fumbles because he's a thumper. That's what he is.
Because he's a stud. He's a stud. He just doesn't have interception.
He does not have an interception, Rocky. That blows my mind.
Yeah, Trent McDuffie has 0 interceptions. So I'm taking the under. That doesn't mean that I don't believe Trent McDuffie is a number 1 cornerback in a lockdown corner in the NFL. I think that people are scared to throw to him.
Man, wow. Dude, I learned something today. Good Lord.
I trapped you with that one, Kramer.
You fell into my trap card.
Yeah. All right. This one, Nick Bolton, over 13 games started this year.
Oh, this is a slight on. I love Nick Bolton.
I love Nick Bolton too. This isn't a slight. This is a. I hope
he can't stay healthy, man. Like he really looked.
A lot of it has to do with the way he plays football.
I know he's always on the point of contact. He's always there wanting to make sure he can get his hand on the ball to try to knock it out or knock a defender onto his ass. I think it's under. His last injury he had last year, he just didn't look great coming back from it. And it showed. I think we go see an under 13 game started for Nick.
Yeah, so he only played 8 games last year. He played 17 in 2022, 16 in 2021. I think that he plays in 14 games this year. So I'm going to take the over.
Oh, okay.
I believe in you, Nick Bolton. I do too,
but man.
I believe in you, buddy. All right, and this is the last one, and this one is kind of spicy. Kingsley Suamatia. Game started at left tackle over 8.
Yeah, I'm with it. I personally think we see Wanya Morris start the season as the starting tackle, and we're going to see that flip. Like, I wouldn't say instantly. Maybe it's 3 or 4 or 5 games, but we're going to see Kingsley start more than 8.
I think that by like week 7 or 8, you see Kingsley starting. That's if David Bakhtiari does not get his wish and doesn't get signed by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dude, why hasn't that happened yet? Like, it's a grass field at Arrowhead. Like, why hasn't that happened?
I don't know. He said that he might want to play. I mean, we should. Yeah, I mean, David Bakhtiari last week said that he wanted to play. He wanted to win a Super Bowl, and he made a very strong, veiled comment that basically said he wanted to play for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'll try it.
Yeah. I'm taking the over.
Over. Gotcha.
I'm taking the over on this.
Good luck to you, my friend. I'm hoping someone who's listening back to this jots this down and proves us right or wrong when it comes to our wrap-up show at the end of the season.
Me too.
This is way too far in advance over-under predictions.
Way too far in advance. All right, last thing to talk about before we get out of here today. Chiefs star bonds have passed in Kansas. Kansas has paved the way to move the Kansas City Chiefs over to the Kansas side. This big news, Kramer.
Huge.
It almost seems like Kansas City, Missouri is just sitting there doing nothing, thinking that their wife is never going to leave them. Meanwhile, somebody is like romancing her right underneath their nose, like right in front of them.
Yeah.
And one day they're going to wake up and the best thing they ever had is going to be gone.
You know what? I have a problem with this. Like, why is Mr. Frank White out here trying to make it seem like there's a bidding war between the two sides right now? Because there's literally no bidding war. From my eyesight seeing this, there's nothing. Like, there's no bidding war. I see Kansas as the people saying, okay, we know what the Chiefs mean. We know what the Kansas City Royals mean to Kansas City. And we don't want to see them go to Nashville, somewhere in Texas, Portland, Oregon. We don't want to see that. We want them to stay here in Kansas City. If it happens to be on the Kansas side of things, so be it. I'm cool with it. I'm hoping everybody else is cool with it too. I know there's going to be that certain person's like, that Missouri guy's like, oh, I'm never going to go to Kansas to watch football there. It needs to be played at Arrowhead. There should be no football in Kansas. I'm not a big Kansas person. But yet they still show up to the parking lot when it's actually going to happen. Because end of the day, I personally think they're going to go to Kansas. Like, I don't think a deal's going to get done here on the Missouri side of things. I'm in too deep with it, knowing all the back stuff now. So it's like, I don't think it's going to happen. If it does, I'll be shocked. But good for Kansas saying, yeah, we can do this. We did it with the sporting out here at Legends. Why not continue to do it here with the boys in blue and the soon to be back Super Bowl champions?
Yeah, 100%. And if the Missouri legislature doesn't value the Chiefs, then in the Kansas legislature saying, hey, listen, you're not valued over there. Come over here. We value you. It's a smart business decision for the Chiefs to do so.
You could sports gamble over there.
You can sports gamble over there. I mean, it's one of those things where it feels to me like Kansas City and the state of Missouri is just going to fumble this, like to fumble two professional sports franchises right across the state lines, by thinking that they're never, by like almost trying to call their bluff and be dumb and say, "Oh, they're never going to leave us. You're never going to leave us. Oh, we've been married for too long. You're never walking out that door. You don't have the guts to walk out that door and try something new." And meanwhile, their wife is going to walk right out the door to freaking waiting arms of George Clooney over on the Kansas side, who says, "I'll give you everything you ever wanted, baby. I'll make all your dreams come true."
Just please make Arrowhead a dome stadium, please. I want WrestleMania here in Kansas City.
It's insane to me, honestly, that Missouri is not doing more to try to retain them. But yeah, I honest to God, I the writing is on the wall. It feels like at this point that the Chiefs end up on the Kansas side at some point. And because I don't think it matters to the Chiefs which side of the state line they play on, because guess what? They know that Mr. Missouri over there, Mr. Mizzou fan who hates KU and who gets on Twitter every single time somebody says, "Oh, hi," every new player the Chiefs sign, and they make the mistake of saying, "Oh, I've never been to Kansas before." Right. And then every guy on Twitter says, "Well, you don't play in Kansas. Missouri, it's in Missouri," right? Like those guys who like try to like destroy our brand new player the moment he signs with the team and makes him regret being one of our players the moment that he signs with us because they're so toxic. Like those are the guys who are saying, "I'm never going over to Kansas to watch the Chiefs." But guess what? They're going over to Kansas to watch the Chiefs if the Chiefs are playing over there. You're going wherever the Chiefs are playing. You're a fan of the team. You're going to watch them. If that's where you have to go to watch football, then that's where you're going. It's the exact same reason why I knew a buddy who lived in Topeka and had season tickets to the Chiefs. That's the reason why there are people who live in Iowa and have season tickets to the Chiefs. People who live in Iowa don't give two shits if they're driving to Kansas City, Missouri or Kansas City, Kansas to go watch the Chiefs. People who live in Johnson County also really probably don't care if they're driving to Arrowhead or Kansas to watch the Chiefs, right? I mean, it's a very small subset of Chiefs Kingdom that actually lives inside of Kansas City, Missouri, and cares enough about having to go over to the state line to see the Chiefs. The majority of the fan base, it doesn't lie within that small corridor of the geographic location, and the Chiefs know that, and they're not going to make their decision based on that.
And I'm hoping they full send it. Be like, yeah, if you want that, you can have whatever you want over here. Just make it as sexy as possible because I hate the fact of not knowing where they're going to be at in 2030. I have no idea. That's when that lease is up. And I would like to have the sports teams clearly here in Kansas City. I may not be the fan of them, but I just love the fact that I had the opportunity to go watch a Chiefs game, go watch a Royals game. And if I'm going to lose 100%. That, why am I still in Kansas City? There's no reason for me to be here. There really isn't.
Hey, you're going to be a Chiefs fan. The Chiefs are going to be in Kansas City. They're
Damn
just
it, Rocky,
be on
I hope
Kansas
so.
Side. And guess what? It's going to be next to the Great Wolf Lodge, and they're going to build a water slide.
Oh, hell yeah.
And that's how you get into the gates to make it go faster, is that each gate to get in the stadium is going to be a water slide from the Great Wolf Lodge into the new Arrowhead, and you're going to splash down into a dome temperature-controlled stadium with a retractable roof so that in the wintertime, you're just going to water slide into a hot tub and just get out and just enjoy your game.
That'd be so sick. Also, too, it's not Cabela's anymore. It's Bass Pro Shop out there.
Wow.
Yeah, I found that out about a month ago.
I mean, I like Bass Pro Shop better, to be honest.
I mean, it's still the exact same thing to me. So,
well, it is the exact same thing, but I like Bass. I used to have a Bass Pro Shop hat, and so I'm more partial to Bass Pro Shop.
There's a lot of Bass Pro show hats. Oh my gosh, can I talk? Bass Pro Shop hats. There we go.
Mm-hmm. And I had this when I was like in junior high, though. So it was like before it was cool, Kramer. Like,
so you started the trend, Rocky.
Yeah, I was like pre-hipster cool. I was a nerd, actually. I just like to go camping and go fishing.
That's cool, though. That's not nerd.
I know. I was an outdoors nerd.
Hey, I must be a huge nerd then. I love being outdoors.
I'm such a nerd. I love to camp and fish so much. But yeah, no.
Sorry. This little thing was pulling cords.
See, already starting shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Cosmo, cut the crap, Cosmo. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of Veach Season. As always, 5-star reviews. We need you. Leave us a comment, likes. If you're tracking our over-unders, let us know how we do at the end of the season, and we'll bring you on to talk about it. We love you guys. Be good to each other. As always, we really, really hope that this meandering discussion of just two guys basically talking sports at a bar has earned the privilege of your time. Be good to each other, and we love you. We'll talk to you next week.